Good day everyone. Throughout this report, we will delve into the relay logic and programmable logic controller. And we will focus on the topic automatic welding system and programmable logic controller.
First is the relay. By definition, it is a simple electromechanical switch which on the other hand controls the connection or disconnection of two circuits by using a low power signal to activate a high power circuit that opens or closes the circuit electronically or electromechanically. So basically, ang relay ay nagsisilbing mechanical switch sa pag-control ng connection or disconnection ng dalawang circuits natin. Next is the comparison of electromechanical relay and solid-state relay. In terms of their operation, in EMRS, the magnetic force is required in opening or closing contacts of relays. On the other hand, for SSRS, mainly are electronically operated in switching and contact. In terms of durability, EMRS have physical moving parts that can wear out in due time due to repeated use. On the other hand, SSRS have no physical moving parts which results in higher reliability and longer lifespan. In terms of switching speed, EMRS has slower speed due to the presence of mechanical components. On the other hand, SSRS has faster speed due to the absence of mechanical components. And lastly, in terms of noise, EMRS may produce noise because of the mechanical movement, clashing of parts. On the other hand, SSRS has minimal to no noise since there are no physical moving parts. So next is about how relay works. A relay functions similarly to an electrical switch, allowing it to be turned on or off remotely. It works with an electromagnetic coil. When an electric current passes through the coil, it generates a magnetic field that attracts a metal component known as an armature. This armature is connected to a switch within the relay. So, itong GIF na nakikita nyo sa lower right ay nagpapakita kung paano gumagana yung relay. So, basically, ang relay is nahati sa two operations which are normally closed and normally open. Kapag normally closed, ibig sabihin connected yung two circuits natin. And kapag normally open, ibig sabihin disconnected yung two circuits natin. So, para maging normally closed or normally open yung ating relay, mayroon tong armature na kung saan siya yung nag-a-attract using magnetic field. Siya yung nag-a-attract doon sa com natin para mapunta siya sa normally open or normally closed. So kapag may supply tayo doon sa armature, magiging normally open yung relay natin. And kapag wala naman tayong supply or walang current na dumadaloy dun sa armature, magiging normally close yung relay natin. Here is the applications of the relay: lighting control systems, telecommunication, industrial process controllers, traffic control, motor drives control, protection systems of electrical power system, computer interfaces, automotive, and home appliances. Next is relay logic, also known as ladder logic, is a programming and controlling of circuits method consisting of relays and switches. This is an electrical network that uses lines and rungs in representing continuity that enables the output of the devices. So the two vertical lines in the previous image, which are the L1 and L2, connect all the devices on the relay logic diagram. The spaces between these vertical lines are the four voltages of the controller circuit. The output are always in line to L2. In line with this, all the electrical overloads line in between the outputs and L2. If not, the output devices is the last component connected to L2. Control devices are always in between the L1 and outputs and can be connected in series or parallel. A device that executes stop is usually in series connection, thus start functions are usually in parallel connection. Electrical devices are shown in their normal conditions. Normally closed or NC contact would be shown as normally closed, and an NO contact would appear as a normally open device. All contacts associated with a device will change state when the device is energized. For the last part of our subtopics, the programmable logic controller or PLC is a tiny type of computer that works in receiving data through its inputs and working out the instruction by sending the decision out through outputs. This mainly controls industrial processes and machinery. PLCs are widely used in manufacturing plants, assembly lines, and other automated systems to monitor inputs, make decisions based on logic, and control outputs. The advantages of using PLC come in price ranges, including budget options often favored by small businesses and startups. They are known for their versatility as most models can control a range of processes and systems. Being solid-state electronics, PLCs have no moving parts, making them highly reliable and suitable for environments. Their minimal components make PLCs easy to troubleshoot and reduce maintenance downtime. And lastly, PLC are energy efficient, require power consumption, saving electricity costs, and potentially resolving wiring complications. So let's proceed now on our main topic about automatic welding system and programmable logic controller that is divided into three topic outline. First is physical description of the welding system. Second, sequence of operations in making a weld. Third, the weld power circuit. Fourth, the parts of a programmable logic controller. Fifth is the programming a PLC to control the conveyor. And lastly, programming, timing, and counting functions. So let's begin with physical description of the welding system. First is welding power source. It supplies the electrical energy needed for welding, and the power source produces the necessary voltage and current based on the welding procedure. So here are the example of power source ng isang automatic welding system or ng isang welding machine, na kung saan pwedeng ito ay step down transformer or rectifier. Since yun nga, ang welding system natin ay nagre-require ng low voltage but high current. So ibig sabihin yung 220 AC volt standard natin is kailangan pababain. So mabababa lamang natin siya gamit yung step down transformer or yung rectifier. Next is welding torch or gun. The consumable electrode is kept there for arc welding. The weld junction is created by carefully positioning the flame. So itong welding torch, ito yung nagsisilbing pang-weld doon sa subject natin. So dito lumalabas yung tinatawag na electrode na kung saan ito yung kumikislap. Ito yung nagiging key para mapag-connect natin yung wini-weld natin. Next is wire feeder. Itong wire feeder is only for arc welding. Its job is to continually feed the welding flame with consumable electrode wire while maintaining a stable arc. Next is workpiece positioning mechanism. It ensures the precise alignment of the workpiece. It may involve conveyors, rotary table, or robotic arms that move the workpiece into the optimal welding position. So, workpiece positioning mechanism is dito nilalagay yung subject natin. So, importante ito para ma-maintain yung position nung subject or nung object na wini-welding natin. So, later on, makikita natin kung ano ba yung workpiece positioning mechanism na tinatawag. Next is control system and PLC. The programmable logic controller or PLC coordinates torch movement, wire feed, gas flow, and other parameters. The PLC executes predefined welding programs based on the workpiece geometry and material. So itong control system and PLC natin is part din siya or under din siya ng physical description ng ating automatic welding system na kung saan siya yung nagko-control sa pinaka-machine natin. Siya yung nagko-control, siya yung nag-a-assess, siya yung nagbibigay ng program doon sa machine natin. Next is sensors and feedback devices. Important parameters including arc voltage, current, and torch position are tracked by sensors. During welding, feedback devices enable modifications by giving the control system real-time information. So, itong sensors natin and feedback devices ay nagsisilbing pang-monitor doon sa ating mga arc voltage, current, and torch na kung saan kailangan ma-maintain natin yung mga yan para mag-operate smoothly yung ating machine. So, ang purpose nitong mga to is siya yung nagde-detect and siya yung nag-modify ng mga arc na yon. Next is cooling system. Automatic welding generates heat, particularly when operating for an extended period of time. A cooling system, typically water-based, avoids overheating of components such as the torch and power supply. Next, safety features. Modern automatic welding machines include safety features, emergency stop buttons, protective barriers, and interlock keep operators safe. So, itong safety features natin, for example, yung emergency stop buttons is also located doon sa control system natin. Servo motor. A servo motor is a rotary actuator that can precisely control its angular position, velocity, and acceleration. It consists of suitable motor connected to a sensor for position feedback. Next is servo drive. A servo drive receives a command signal from a control system, amplifies it, and sends an electric current to a servo motor, causing motion proportional to the signal. And then next is relay board. A relay board is a device made up of multiple relays that are mounted in the control panel. A relay is a switch that uses an armature powered by an electromagnet to complete an electrical circuit. So, ang automatic welding system ay mayroon ding relay board or set of relays. Since yun nga, itong relay na to ay nagsisilbing switch sa ating machinery. And itong welding system natin is an example of industrial machine na kung saan doon din ina-apply yung mga relay natin. Here is the example of automatic welding machine or system. So, ang importante lang dito is yung number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yung number 6, welding torch. Ito yung before na kung saan siya yung nagpo-produce or dito nanggagaling yung electrode natin, yung kumikislap para ma-weld yung object natin. And then, 7 and 10, partner sila, horizontal stepper motor and vertical stepper motor. Ito yung motor na kung saan mapapagalaw mo yung machine na to. It's either left or right, up and down. Next, yun, ito na nga yung sabi natin kanina, yung about sa welding positioning mechanism. So, itong number 3 na kung saan yun nga tawag sa kanya is positioning machine. So dito ilalagay yung object na i-weld. Ang purpose nito is para maging stable yung object and maging maayos yung pagwe-weld natin doon sa object na yon. Next is sequence of operations in making a weld. Next is the weld power circuit. The primary functions of a power source include producing enough heat to melt the joint, generating a stable arc, and facilitating metal transfer. Because welding processes require high current, which ranges from 50 to 300 ampere at relatively low voltage, ranges from 10 to 10 volts. The high voltage main supply 230 or 400 volts must be reduced by a transformer. To generate DC, the output of the transformer must be further rectified.
Now, let's proceed naman sa part ng Programmable Logic Controller. Una, meron tayong PLC Central Processing Unit or the PLC CPU. This part is ito talaga yung pinaka-core component ng isang PLC system. Kasi ito yung nagpe-perform ng mga main control and data processing functions tulad ng pag-fetch, pag-decode, at pag-execute ng mga instructions mula sa user program. Ito din yung nagpe-perform ng mga mathematical operation, data manipulation, at ito rin yung nakikipag-communicate sa other devices. Ang next part is the PLC memory. Ang PLC memory naman ay ginagamit para makapag-store tayo ng mga control program, data, and other information para makapag-run ng isang operation ng isang system. Meron tayong dalawang uri ng memory, which is the RAM and the ROM. First, the RAM or the random access memory. Ito yung pinaka-primary working memory ng isang PLC. Ang RAM ay volatile or meaning yung contents ay pwedeng mawala when the PLC is powered off or reset. Next, the ROM or the read-only memory. Ang ROM naman ay non-volatile, which is used to store the PLC's operating system, firmware, and sometimes the default or backup control program. Another crucial part or component is the power supply, which is ginagamit para makapag-convert tayo ng AC papuntang DC input na appropriate sa DC voltage levels required by the PLC components tulad ng CPU, mga input or output modules, and other connected devices. Ginagamit ito sa power regulation and conditioning. Ibig sabihin, nare-regulate nito ang output voltage para makapag-maintain ng isang stable and consistent power supply. Ang next component naman ang programming units or the console, which is ginagamit para ang user ay makapag-create, edit, and download control programs sa PLC's memory. Nagpo-provide din siya ng interface for writing, modifying, and organizing the PLC's ladder logic. It is also responsible for monitoring and troubleshooting.
Ang next component naman, ang input devices. So, ang input devices, sila yung mga component na nagtatransmit ng signal or information papuntang PLC for processing. These input devices are also responsible sa pag-sense at pag-detect ng mga various physical or electrical conditions and converting them into digital or analog signals na naiintindihan ng PLC for processing. So, basically, ang mga input devices, sila yung nag-a-act as communication channels between sa real world at saka sa PLC's control system. So, merong apat na uri ng mga input devices. So, yung una, yung real-time data providers. So, ang real-time data providers naman, ito yung mga input devices na design para mag-provide nga ng mga real-time data sa PLC na i-ensure na yung control system ay pwedeng mag-respond agad in changes sa process or system in a timely manner. So, ibig sabihin, mabilisan. So, crucial ang mga real-time data applications sa mga mabibilis na decision making and action tulad sa manufacturing, industrial automation, tsaka process control. So, next one, analog inputs. Ang analog inputs naman tulad ng mga sensors, transducers, sila naman yung nagpo-provide ng mga continuous signal sa PLC. Nag-represent sila tulad ng mga physical quantities like temperature, pressure, flow, or level. And then, digital inputs naman tulad ng mga switches and digital sensors, nagpo-provide sila ng binary, which is the on or off signals to the PLC. And digital inputs are typically more straightforward to process than analog inputs since meron nga lang silang two possible states, which is the binary. So yun, 'di ba? Mas madali lang. So lastly, for the frequency matters, yung frequency kasi or speed ng input signals ay importanteng factor, particularly sa mga applications na kailangan yung mga high speed or rapid changes dun sa isang process. For example, yung mga encoders and other high-speed input devices, nare-require nila yung PLC na magkaroon ng capability na mag-process ng signal at high frequencies. And syempre, kapag ganun, it enables the PLC to accurately track and respond to changes in position or speed or other dynamic frequencies. Now, let's proceed sa mga output devices. Output devices, ito yung mga component na nagre-receive ng signal or command galing sa PLC at i-convert itong mga to in either visible or audible indications. So, meron tatlong categories ng output devices, which are the register output, discrete output, and analog output. Okay, proceed muna tayo sa register outputs. Ang register outputs, nagpo-provide siya ng mga numerical or text-based information sa user or operator. Ito, may examples which are the panel meters and displays. First, panel meters, nagpo-provide siya ng visual display ng mga analog values tulad ng pressure, temperature, or flow. Next, display or alphanumeric display. Nagpo-provide naman siya or nagpapakita siya ng mga text-based information tulad ng process status, error messages, or set point values. Next category is the discrete outputs. These are used to control the on and off or binary states of devices and components in the system. So, on and off lang ng binary state. So, first example include the pilot lights. Ito, nag-indicate siya na ang isang status or particular component or process ay gumagana. Example include, kunwari yung isang motor is gumagana or yung isang valve ay naka-open. So, doon ginagamit yung mga pilot lights. Next example is the solenoid valves. Ito naman, kinokontrol niya yung mga flow ng fluids tulad ng water, oil, and air by energizing or de-energizing the solenoid. Lastly, yung last na category is the analog output. So, first example, input converters and control valves. Ito naman, nagsasend siya ng signal sa input converter and then ita-translate yon ng input converter sa format na suitable dun sa control valve naman. And syempre kapag alam mo na yung format na suitable dun, magkakaroon siya ng precise adjustment na swak dun or sakto dun sa process. Next example for the analog output is the variable speed drives or the VSDs. Ito naman, nagsisend siya ng iba-ibang voltage signal or varying voltage signal sa VSD. And syempre, kapag nag-send siya ng ganong signal na needed, nagkakaroon ng fine-tuning dun sa motor speed based dun sa kailangan na program. By this point, let's proceed sa block diagram ng PLC system. Una, programming PLC to control the conveyor or classifying system, and specifically programming the PLC for conveyor. Ang Omron simulator ay ginagamit para ma-validate ang PLC program before siyang ma-deploy sa mismong actual hardware. Of course, it allows the testing ng program logic at ma-ensure na yung program na yon ay possible na ma-implement sa mismong PLC. Ang Delta PLC, meron siyang mga Omron Motion Language, which is a popular brand na nagpa-provide ng mga Omron-like motion programming language. It allows using familiar logic operands like AND or AND negation para makapag-create ng control program. Meron siyang if-then-else structure, which is it follows the common if-then-else format which is the standard way of encoding conditional logic and PLC program. Next one, proceed tayo sa motor ladder logic. Basically, syempre kapag pinindot mo yung start button, yung motor start rung is ma-energize, which allows the conveyor motor and activates the run or the green lamp indication. At syempre kapag habang gumagalaw na yung box doon sa conveyor, yung mga proximity sensors madedetect niya yung pag-arrive ng box sa other end, which triggers the motor stop rung. And after nun, syempre hihinto yung motor and made-activate yung run or the green lamp indication. Then yung the stop, syempre red lamp naman yun. Syempre activation siya na huminto na yung mismong conveyor. And at any time, yung emergency stop push button naman, pwede siyang pindutin, which immediately stops the motor regardless of the current state. So, itong ladder logic diagram, nagpo-provide siya mismo ng visual representation ng sequential task ng control logic para makapag-operate ng conveyor motor system as per the requirements. So, ito naman, ito mismo yung schematic diagram ng mismong relay natin. So, as you can see in the diagram, meron ditong mga symbols tulad ng R, which is the stop indication lamp, the G, the run indication lamp, M is the motor, and so on and so forth. So, ang next slide naman, ito yung mismong operational sequence ng mismong relay. So, hindi na namin siya masyadong i-explain since kapag binasa siya is madali na lang siyang maintindihan. Ngayon naman, proceed na tayo mismo sa control system. So, syempre, control system, ito na mismo yung pagsasama-sama ng mga several key components para gumana sila all together and ma-execute yung mga control logic and makapag-perform ng various functions. So, itong data acquisition system, ito na yung pagko-collect, pagpo-process at pag-i-store ng mga data mula sa mga iba't ibang sensor or sources para syempre gumana na mismo yun. At this moment, let's delve into the programming, timing, and counting functions. First and foremost, it is important na malaman natin yung functions ng mga timer and counter. So, yung mga timer kasi, siya yung nagkikreate ng delay or nagko-control mismo ng haba or duration ng events. While on the other hand, yung counters naman, siya yung nagtatrack ng mga number of occurrences. So, ang una is the PLC timer. So, kung makikita nyo dito, meron ditong timing diagram as well as the symbol ng PLC timer. So, meron kasing mga key components na may specific functions tulad ng internal clock, count value register, and accumulator. So, ang internal clock, ito mismo yung nag-generate ng mga timing pulses given sa mga specific na frequency. Usually, ano lang to, ang range niya is the milliseconds up to seconds. Yung register naman or the count value register, meron siyang dedicated count value register na nag-i-store ng mga preset time value program by the user mismo. At yung accumulator naman, ito yung register na nagki-keep ng mga track of the elapsed time as the timer counts. So yung accumulator, tuloy-tuloy lang siyang nag-i-increments base dun sa internal clock pulses. Additionally, merong mga timer instructions. So yung timer instructions, ito lang yung mga output instructions na ginagamit sa PLC program para makontrol mismo yung timing intervals based on the rung conditions. So una, merong accumulated value. Ito lang yung mga current count of the time-based intervals that have elapsed since the timer was energized. Next, preset value. Ito naman yung mga value set by the programmer na nagre-represent ng mga desired duration or delay time. when the accumulated value is greater than or equal to the preset value, status bit is set to control an output device. And the next one is the timer enable bit. So this bit is set when the wrong condition to the left of the timer instructions is true. And when this bit is set, yung accumulated value ay mag-i-increment on each time based on interval until ma-reach niya yung mismong preset value. Lastly, done bit. So itong done bit naman, this bit is set when the accumulated value equals the preset value. So it is reset when the wrong condition becomes false. Ngayon naman, let's discuss the time working. So merong mga types ng timer. So ang una dito is the on delay timer. Tinatawag din siyang delayed on timer. So ito nga, the timer's output is delayed for a specific time after the input condition becomes true. And the output is turned on only after yung preset time has elapsed. At useful ito sa pagde-delay ng mga action or output until a specific time has passed. On the other hand, yung off-delay timer naman, also called as the delayed off timer, the timer's output remains on for a specified time after the input condition becomes false. So, false naman. The output is turned off only after the preset time has elapsed. Ito naman ay useful sa pag-maintain ng mga certain duration after the input condition is no longer true. Next, last is the pulse timer. Tinatawag din siyang one-shot timer. So, one-shot, ibig sabihin, the timer generates a single, meron siyang fixed duration pulse output when the input condition becomes true. So, ang output pulse is generated for the preset time, regardless siya of how long the input condition remains true. It is useful for generating a short, timed output in response to an input. So, these three main types of timers, nagpo-provide siya ng, syempre, mga flexible or flexibility sa PLC programming na nag-handle ng mga various timing requirements na needed sa mga industrial automation and control application. So, meron silang mga ability na makapag-delay ng outputs, ma-maintain yung outputs at makapag-generate ng mga timed pulses na essential sa pag-coordinate at pag-sequence ng mga operation ng iba't ibang components and processes. So, kanina, about yun sa mga PLC timer. Ngayon naman, proceed na tayo sa PLC counter. So, yung PLC counter, di ba, siya yung nagtatrack ng mga number of occurrences. So, dito, ang PLC counter ay syempre important din siyang component sa mga programmable logic controller since meron siyang mga key functions. So, ang una niyang key functions is the counting events. So, ang mga counters kasi sa PLC, ginagamit siya para ma-detect and ma-track yung mga, yun nga, yung number of occurrences of specific events or conditions. Pwede niyang ma-eliminate yung need ng mga physical relays and mechanical counting devices kasi nga meron ka ng counter. So, the counter's accumulated value can be used for various purposes such as process monitoring, production reporting, and batch control. So, meron tayong tinatawag na logging and SCADA integration. So, ang mga PLC counters ay pwede siyang magamit para makapag-provide ng data for the SCADA or the supervisory control and data acquisition systems. So, dito, the counter values can be logged and trended para makapag-provide ng mga historical data on the number of events or occurrences. Ginagamit itong mga data para makapag-analyze, makapag-optimize, at makapag-report ng mga purposes. At ang counter, meron din siyang alarm triggering functions. So, ginagamit siya sa, syempre, alarm, nagsiset siya ng notifications when the number of events reaches a specified threshold. Syempre, useful ang mga alarm triggering sa monitoring critical processes, pagdetect ng mga production anomalies, or triggering maintenance activities. At ang counter, meron siyang process control kasi ang counters can be integrated into the overall PLC control logic para ma-enable mismo yung sophisticated process control and automation. For example, yung counters, pwede nga siyang magamit para matrack yung number of completed cycles or regulate batch sizes or control the operation of equipment based on the number of events detected. Lastly, merong mga types ng counter. So, ang una dito, yung up counters. So, yung up counters, i-increment yung value niya with each input signal or counting event. So, yung counters value starts at a preset minimum value, usually 0, and mag-i-increase yon with each counting event. So, ginagamit ang mga up counters when the goal is to track the total number of occurrences or events. On the other hand, ang down counters naman ay nagdi-decrement. Dinidecrement niya yung value with each input signal or counting event. So, syempre, the counter's value starts at a preset maximum value and decreases naman with each counting event. So, ang mga down counters ay ginagamit mostly sa mga applications where a specific number of events need to be counted down, tulad ng batch processing ng isang product. So, syempre, both up counters and down counters may mga specific diba, use cases sa PLC programming and industrial automation. So, para mas maintindihan, yung mga up counters, ginagamit yan sa mga tracking total production output, monitoring the number of parts produced, counting the number of times a sensor is triggered, and accumulating the number of operator interactions. And yung down counters naman, ito yung nagko-control ng batch sizes or mga recipe quantities and nagtatrack ng mga number of remaining parts or products. It also count down the number of permitted operations or cycles, and it implements a parts remaining indication for an assembly process. So, ang choice between an up counter or a down counter is depende sa specific requirement na need doon sa application at desired na functionality sa mismo PLC control system.